Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. Those who prefer to listen in Spanish can join the live translation of the conference by clicking on the interpretation circle located in the lower right part of the screen and choosing that language. Quienes hablan español pueden escuchar la traducción en vivo de la conferencia haciendo clic en el círculo de interpretación ubicado en la parte baja derecha de la pantalla y elegir su idioma. Gracias y bienvenidos a la conferencia del 2020 de la Bienal de Arquitectura de la ciudad de Nueva York. Thank you and welcome to the 2020 New York City Architectural Biennial Conference.
And again, welcome and good evening. The New York Architecture Biennial is new this year, and we're glad that you found us and are listening in. We're a not-for-profit 50C3 organization that will recognize and exhibit the work and ideas of those talented in architecture, urban design, landscape, environmental, and other design disciplines. Our goals are to promote innovative, sustainable design and to support gender and racial equality around the world. To achieve this, we exhibit the work of emerging and renowned architects and urban designers, landscape architects, environmental, and other design professionals. We provide a platform within which we can consider design creativity. We connect, inform, and support the work of design professionals. We encourage training to achieve gender and racial equality for leadership positions within architecture and urbanism firms and agencies. We coordinate with public and private organizations to support women and racial diversity in architecture and urbanism, and we encourage the use of construction materials and methods to ensure sustainable design. Most importantly, we have an overarching commitment to collaborate with others to accomplish 5 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, of the United Nations. By 2030, more will be said about these 5 goals later in the program. We would like now to thank our Biennale partners, the Consortium for Sustainable Urbanization, the BIM Academy, Red Bull, the Institute for Biodigital Architecture and Genetics, and the International University of Catalunya, Barcelona. We would also like to thank our sponsors, including JP Capizzi Law Office, Zoho Cloud Solutions, Dezeen, Arc News Now, the Commission Project, the Washington Center, Carolina, an OFS company, and OFS, which is providing today their fabulous showroom at 1250 Broadway to broadcast the conference. Look out the window behind Natalia. Last, we'd like to acknowledge the institutions that have promoted our event. The AIA New York chapter and their Archtober program, Pratt Institute, Columbia University, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, the New York Institute of Technology, the ACSA, the Association of Collegiate Schools of Architecture in the US, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA, and the magazines, the Monday Morning Quarterback, Architects Newspaper, Archinex, New York Architectural Diary, and Interior Design Magazine. And now it's my great pleasure to bring to the Zoom lectern my good friend and co-moderator, Rick Bell, FAIA, and my good friend and co-moderator, Natalia Valencia, president and founder of the New York City Architecture Biennale. Over to you, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you, Lance. It's my great pleasure to be here with you all today. Our inaugural day program, I guess our evening program in New York, introduces the New York City Architecture Biennial, along with our goals and objectives. We will hear more about our team, our theme, inclusion in the workplace, and the Inclusion Award for 2020, the script here says 3030, and our partnership with the Red Bull Network of Latin American Biennials, our support for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, our online education program that will be occurring throughout this year and next, and most importantly, the program for this year's 2020 New York City Architecture Biennale. At the end of the presentation, there'll be time for an interactive Q&A with you all to answer any questions that you may have. As Natalia said, those listening today can connect with us through the Zoom chat room and can ask questions of the speakers through the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And again, those who prefer not to listen in English can click on the interpretation icon to tune in using the language of their choice. It's my honor to present the board of directors of the first ever New York City Architecture Biennial. The board is comprised of 3 individuals. Our president is Natalia Valencia, an architect originally from Argentina, who moved to the United States in 2001 to work with Cesar Pelli and Kevin Roach in New Haven, and then came to New York City in, I think, 2010 to continue her career as a designer. Natalia is currently an associate at Perkins Eastman here in New York, and she's a lead accredited professional specializing in building design and construction. Our treasurer, Carolina Valencia, is an electrical engineer and a professor. She also serves as general director of electrical works of Salta, Argentina. She is an accredited sustainable development goals promoter. Hola, Carolina. Our secretary, Nancy Valencia, coincidentally, everybody seems to have the last name, is a lawyer and professor. She also serves as the director of the Mediation Center of Salta, Argentina. She's a member of UNICEF Juvenile Criminal Justice Mediation Association and an accredited Sustainable Development Goals promoter. Tonight, our speakers include Carlos Salaberry. He's the director in Latin America of Rafael Vignoli Architects PC, a former principal at MSGSS, vice president of the Consejo Profesional de Arquitectura y Urbanismo, director of the Biennale in Buenos Aires, and founder of the Red Ball Biennial Network. Next up will be JJ Falk, associate AI, principal at Perkins Eastman, founder of JJ Falk Design LLC. She was previously at Philip Jansen Group and Gensler. She served as committee chair at IIDA New York. She's a member of the Women's Presidents Organization, the WPO, and the Korean Society of Interior Designers. COSID, the list goes on and on. I'm going to shorten it for the sake of getting to your talk, JJ. The New York City Architecture Biennial theme of the year is inclusion in the workplace and in design. And now I would like to invite our advisory board member, JJ Falk, to speak about that theme. JJ, the screen is yours.
Rick, before JJ joins, we're gonna mention our advisory board members, and so
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. I also wanted to say thank you, Rick and Lance, for your constant support throughout my career, for your assistance founding this organization, and for being the moderators of this event. Thank you to all of you for being here with us tonight, to our team who had worked very, they work hard every day to get this done, and to our partners and sponsors with whom we made this event possible. And thank you to this quite international audience that we have tonight. They joined us from all over the world. And I also want to introduce the two of you, Rick and Lance. We didn't do that part. So Rick Bell Faya, former executive director of AIA New York, former executive director of Design and Construction Excellence at the New York City Department of Construction, and currently at Columbia's University Center for Buildings, Infrastructure, and Public Space. And also moderator tonight, Lance Brown, Faya, Distinguished Professor, Association of Collegiates, School of Architecture, Emeritus City College of New York and City University of New York, founder of Architecture plus Urbanism Design, author and curator, past president, AIA New York, and currently president, Consortium for Sustainable Urbanization. We can also introduce Enrique Cordeiro, principal at Cordeiro Architects, former organizer of the Buenos Aires Bienal exhibits, organizer of the Argentinian Pavilion at the Venice Bienal, and Andel Washmin, professor and director of the architecture career of the FADA Ecuador, president of the College of Architects of Ecuador, and director of the Red Val, the network of Latin American Biennales. So we're very, very glad to have you all as part of our advisory board members. Now, and now I let JJ speak. Sorry, JJ, I had to name the rest of the team before you.
Understood. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome to New York City Architecture Biennial 2020. It's inaugural year. My name is JJ Fogg. I'm a principal at Perkins Eastman Architects. I have been practicing architecture interior design nearly 40 years, including 20 years of running my own design firm in New York City. Well, I'm honored to be joined advisory committee along with the distinguished members for this organization and opening the inaugural theme, inclusion in workplace and in design. We're having a significant crisis in human experience globally. Since beginning of this year, facing the unprecedented challenges to keep our lives safe and healthy. The COVID-19 pandemic phenomena is affecting our daily life in all aspects, individually, socially. It is forcing us to rethink, be creative about the human behavior, how to live and how to work together and care for each other to sustain a stronger, healthier, and happier society. The built environment is an essential part of the human life. As architects, we always feel that we shall and we can contribute to the better and secure space for our life. We drive our creative passion to design and to build for the positive impact for our society. We need to assure the environments which maintain the clean air to breathe now more than ever. It's fundamental necessity. Well, New York City Architecture Biennial is committed to the promoting innovative, sustainable design and the gender equality in the architectural world. Since I have been involved to provide planning and design workplace in corporate America in all my professional career, I'm here to add some of my challenges and experiences to this conversation. Providing design and planning the people's workplace for all types of industries, corporate headquarters, financial giant firms, ever-growing social media firms, various entertainment companies, major law firms, and consumer goods industries such as food and fashions, all require the multifaceted layers of a thought process and decision-making along the way. We have an evolved and advanced workplace, planning and design, much involved with the space allocation, functional requirement, maybe ratio of individual space versus common amenity space. Efficiencies, sustainable design, promoting the corporate images and branding, and human ergonomics design, and lead design, well-building concept design, various different ways to evolve and reserve space problems, requirements to satisfy the occupiers and users as go along with improving the business world, modernizing business world. When I think about the inclusion in the workplace and in design, to me, it is humanistic design approach. Perfect integration, design for the human. Also, we become a human by the design. It is consideration, it is compassion. It is the embracing, yes, it is all about the inclusion. It is every architect's DNA to be open-minded, entering any new project. We made unknown challenges from the beginning of the project, and we discovered the solutions every step of the project process based on collected necessary information, data, and constant confirmation with all intelligence, which collaborated with many different area expertise involved. There are so many layers of ideas and knowledges, technology, rules and regulations, and we have desires to create the perfectly suitable architecture environment. This rigorous process for completing any given architectural project constantly reminds us our thought process shall always based on inclusion, not exclusion. In the end, it is for all the people, for all humans' life. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, we have been communicating through the nonstop virtual meetings among our industry leaders and all participants, sharing our thoughts with workplace planners, users, occupiers, architects and designers, engineers, related consultants, corporate decision makers, global commercial real estate industry leaders, psychologists, even politicians, and futurists. It is continuing to develop our research reports. The future workplace design and direction has been rapidly analyzed, developed, and reimagined the workplace options with changing management in business as well as changing of occupiers' behavior patterns. Especially we are facing human health and safety crisis at our lifetime. We are encouraging our architects and designers come up with the sustainable design concept with the forward thinking for the new hybrid workplace. We would like to balance the workplace and living place in the most effective way for human health and safety concerns, incorporating cultural diversity, gender diversity, age diversity, and physical diversity for all users. From the player room to the mother's room, adding private call booth, non-gender toilets to the workplace, or while addressing concerns of disabled handicapped users as well. Universal workplace design options to be available to all potential users to choose. We also encourage and emphasize our own architects and designers' efforts as part of social behavior change and inclusion movement. We're continuing our persuasive effort to rise and be recognized, to be included and judged by one's ability and being right of human being, not by the prejudice of differences in race, gender, or religion. There has been a noticeable improvement in social awareness and attitude on the diversity, equality, and inclusion in our industry compared to when I first started my professional life decades ago. Well, as an Asian woman studying architecture career with passionate vision for the future architecture career achievement, it had never been easy to get equal opportunity to grow in the most male-dominated architecture firms and push through the glass ceiling and never mind again the acceptance. I no doubt walked a lot more steps to be able to same place as my male counterpart at each step of the ladder. Earlier career, I was humble and to work hard and learn as much as I can, like everyone else, with head down attitude to prove ability to be on the same playing field with my male colleagues, meaning gaining the confidence by the solid capability through the experience and diligence. I didn't take the race or gender as my handicap. It often strengthened me as a uniquely qualified opportunities. Once I have equipped with experience and knowledge in the field, I was confident enough to request fair opportunities. There were always better options to choose and to overcome the obstacles if I work harder and prepared. But often I stretched over my own physical and mental limitation by setting the bar high, pushing the limits. I will continue to put extra effort on my professional task, keep myself to be in good work ethic as a role model to the surroundings. I'm same humble as I was earlier career, and I will never stop to learn new edges, but also confident of my own knowledges and experience to share and leverage for commanding the better result. So, with care and understanding, listening more carefully than speaking out, sometimes we have to go out of our comfort zone, try to come from different directions. Also, we may more often on the front line, knowing there could be a risk and that we have to take the responsibilities for, which will be the beginning of and the opening of the leadership, positively speaking. So we invite this year, we invite and honor our speakers and panelists this year to promote New York City Architecture Biennial, their mission and goals: inclusion, equality, and diversity in workplace and in design. We need to keep on creating opportunities to open and include more minority and hidden women architects to their achievements and for empowering their advancement. We shall continue to work hard to offer equal opportunity to all, so there will be no more minority status. There will be always just us all, human beings. I thank you very much. And now I will introduce Mr. Carlos Salberry. The New York Architecture Biennial will serve as a platform of Red Bell, network of Latin America Biennales. Carlos Salberry, board member of New York Architecture Biennial and the founder of the Red Bell, will explain us more about this institution.
Carlos.
Tengo el video bloqueado.
We have your you have everything on screen right now.
Now it's all is right now. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
thanks, DJ. Good evening, all. And at the beginning of my presentation, I would like to thank Natalia Valencia, born in Salta, Argentina, a nice province of our country, whom I have known for years. Also, before she moved to New York, Natalia worked in my studio in Buenos Aires. So I think that that was a very nice experience for both. She always said that after this, she jumped to New York. I hope so. Natalia invited me to join the board of this new Biennial of New York as director of the Biennial of Buenos Aires, but also.
But I'm on with your name, Lance J. Brown.
What happened? Well, as founder of the Red Ball. So here I am representing the members of the Buenos Aires Biennial and the board of the Red Ball. Be part of this board, it is a great pleasure for me, accompanying colleagues of great reputation. So after this short introduction, I'm going to present what is the Red Ball and then the ON Oscar Niemeyer Prize. The Red Ball is a fact that at the beginning seemed impossible and which today we care to manage its growth. The story began in a casual walk-in with Andre Guayasamín, executive director of the Red through Barcelona in 2009. We got the idea of joining the individual efforts of each biennial in a network, working all together to make known what's happening on with the Latin America production. As I said, in this casual walk, born the idea of the Red Ball. That is the red of Latin America biennials. Red Ball is a space for visibility, meeting, promotion, and discussion about the Latin America architecture. Founded in November 23 of 2012 in the city of Quito, Ecuador, this network arises to establish links between all the biennials that are held in the various countries of Latin America continent, all working to promote discussion of the most significant issues in the fields of architecture and urban planning. This exchange will lead to the discovery of common and singular needs in line with our own culture, which help to develop common proposals and will improve the quality of life of human beings. The rich material from which biennials are sustained from now on can be shared and exchanged remotely and will surely be an inspiring source of other actions. This, with the collaboration of all members, can be carried out. We started as founding members the Biennial of Buenos Aires, Mexico, and Quito, and then in a short time joined Costa Rica. After that came a meeting at Buenos Aires, where Andre Guayasamín did take over the first executive director. At this time began a stage of introducing ourselves in society, and we started to receive biennials who share the idea of the project. Now, in the link are 14 biennials of Latin America. I would like to highlight that after Andre Guayasamín, Augusto Álvarez took over the executive direction until October 2019. Our tribute at this time to the figure of Augusto, since after a short illness, he died in last April. Augusto was an essential worker in these years of growth. We miss him, really. Next one, please. An important objective was the creation of the Prize of Latin American Architecture. The Oscar Niemeyer ON Award is a place to promotion the Latin America production. When we thought of creating it, the name of Oscar Niemeyer immediately emerged as the first figure of Latin architects. It was then that we approached the Niemeyer Foundation, more precisely Ricardo Niemeyer, its president, who had no doubt enjoyed the creation and promotion of the prize. To draw up the rules of the award, we request the help of Diane Gray, that she was during more than 20 years director of the Mies van der Rohe Award. We know we are calling the best for this issue. Dine was born in the United States, but lived in Barcelona for 30 years or more. Next, please. Next, please. Well, here you have the map of the Latin America and all the 14 biennials that took part of the link, and now we have to add also New York biennial. So next, please. Here you have an image of the first prize winner. The name is El Lugar de la Memoria in Spanish, from the architects are Sandra Barclay and Jean-Pierre Cross from Peru. Next, please. This is the second award that the winner was Centro Cultural Teopanzolco. Isaac Broid and Productora are the architects. So now we know that we have a new challenge. Next, please. For the Red Ball during 2021 is to be in Rio 2020, the International Union for Architects Congress. There, the Red is going to be present with an exhibition of the award works in its 3 editions. Until here, a pretended synthesis of our work during the last 30 years since that walked through Barcelona was handled. This year, our presence in New York, it is very important. It's the welcome of the Red Ball of the Young Mayor of New York, and the presence of New York in the Red Ball expand our fields of action to North America. This is really great. Now, the Red Ball is located in all the American continent. Natalia, if you wish at your time, you can talk more about our common projects. New York Biennial, welcome to this fantastic work. I have been involved in this job during more than 40 years, and I still want to continue. So I know many architects from all over the world, but now I have a new board of friends, and thanks all. Good evening, new friends.
Carlos, thank you very much. It was wonderful to have you as our advisory board member, given your large experience as director of the Buenos Aires Architectural Biennial and also founder of the Red Ball. So thank you very much.
You are welcome.
The New York City Architectural Biennial is honored to offer in 2022, there you go, on the screen. The New York City Architectural Biennial is honored to offer in 2022 the Inclusion Award. We as an organization believe in the benefits and the design capabilities of inclusion as just described by J.Shell Falk. It is our intention to celebrate those professionals in architecture and urban design who support our industry and who are in line with our goals as well. The goals are to promote innovative, sustainable design and to support gender and racial equality around the world. On our screen is the image of the Inclusion Award. We look forward to presenting this award Well, you just saw the video of the 2022 Inclusion Award. We're going to be also, whoever participates on this will be able to participate in the ON Award that Carlos just described for the Red Ball. So we're all a family now. Thank you. So now we have on a screen the Sustainable Development Goals. because the New York City Architecture Biennial support 5 of the United Sustainable Goals for 2030. We will learn more about these goals with Maria Florencia Papagayo, who will discuss how these goals could be applied to an architectural project from a local level. Florencia is an architect and a certified sustainable development goal promoter, and she is a co-coordinator of Buenos Aires Sustainable Development Goals International Promoters Network. Florencia is also a project leader for the education infrastructure of Buenos Aires. She's coordinating Polo Educativo Mujica, the largest educational building in Buenos Aires that will serve as a new and inclusive social compound in a historically neglected area. Florencia, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Natalia, for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be here. In the first place, to have a real understanding of what the SDGs are and to keep in mind the actual essence of them, I like to share the formal definition. The Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and improve the lives of everyone, everywhere. The 17 goals were adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which set out a 15-year plan to achieve the goals. The 17 goals are all interconnected and they cover a range of actions and targets which can be identified with the 5 Ps: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. The goals are defined in a list of targets and indicators to measure the progress. In the context of the Architecture Biennial, some of the goals, their meaning and call for action are closer to our possibilities and role as architects and city planners. These 5 goals can be understood as a platform to begin and improve our practices and perspectives to achieve a better built environment and to commit our industry. The goal number 4 is quality education. Schools, universities, and educational institutions require an architecture that enables productive learning environment, and also architecture has a role to play in creating affordable, accessible, and inclusive educational solutions, especially for communities with less resources. Goal number 5, it's about gender equality, the ability to move safely in public spaces, in public institutions, and at the workplace is key to the inclusion to all citizens, regardless of gender. And also our industry must work towards equal pay and diversity. Goal number 7 is affordable and clean energy. Buildings, settlement, and urban areas must employ appropriate energy technology under given geographical, climatic, and cultural conditions. The built environment is a major source of energy consumption and a potentially crucial energy producer. Goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Design and planning must secure infrastructure will help reduce pollution from transportation by enabling walking, biking, and commuting by public transport, and also affordable, accessible, and healthy housing. Buildings and settlements must be developed to increase resilience in the face of climate change and include green areas. And the last one, partnership for the goals. The challenge of achieving the goals requires the work of all, from governments and institutional actors to researchers, businesses, and citizens. As architects, we can contribute by sharing knowledge, promoting sustainable solutions, and engage in collaboration with research and institutional partners. But the real challenge is how should be implemented these goals at the local level. As an architect based in Buenos Aires, I like to share an example of a large project, in this case, deeply related with the accomplishment of goal number 4, quality education. This educational complex was completed in 2018 and represents the largest school area in the city. As you can see in this series of map locations, first Buenos Aires by the River Plate, then zooming in, we can get closer to the area by the city port and Puerto Madero, the most touristy and glamorous part of the city. And finally, a much closer view where the project is located, here in yellow. Pueblo Mujica is adjacent to the most iconic and planned settlement in the city, Barrio 31, because 40,000 people, all low-income families, live there, and it's right next to the most traditional and affluent neighborhoods neighborhoods of the city and the central area. The school complex also enrolled the kids of workers, especially women commuting from outside the city who can leave their children there all day because the city central train and bus stations are at walking distance. With these simple images of the area before and after, we can see the transformation from a very small ranch-like construction with no amenities or quality spaces to a large, complete, and much more inviting building complex where every space was thought out to offer inclusive and flexible learning spaces. The school complex offers kindergarten, elementary and high school level, art and sports spaces for each one of them, and daily breakfast and lunch programs. The quality of design affects the quality of all our lives. As architects, we are the creators of our built environment, and we can work on even the smallest design solutions while addressing major problems such as climate change or public spaces. Achieving the goals by means of architecture, planning, and design is not only possible, it's a must. As designers of our built environment, we have to recognize our responsibility in shaping a positive future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florencia. Wonderful. We all learn about the development goals for 2030. So stay with us. We'll have questions for you later.
Thank you.
The New York City Architectural Biennial provide 2 online educational programs, the Worldwide Architectural Biennial and the Worldwide Architectural Education. The Worldwide Architectural Biennial is the one that we have on the screen now. It highlights and exhibits the work of professionals who participated in other architectural biennales. So with a particular architectural biennale as a theme, the New York City Architectural Biennial will appoint a curator to moderate a series of lectures provided by professionals who participated in that architectural biennale. So we're highlighting the work of other architectural biennale. Now, yes, in the next one, the Worldwide Architectural Educational Program invites professionals from all over the world to discuss themes relative to the time. So the New York City Architectural Biennial will appoint a curator to moderate a series of lectures provided by professionals from different parts of the world. These 2 programs are online. You can access them through a link located in our website under education tag. This link takes you to a website called Pertanto, which is an educational online platform that assists coordinating and facilitating the New York City Architectural Biennial programs. So our Latin American representative, Eduardo Quintero, the founder of Pertanto, will now let us know more about this educational platform and the structure of the courses that we provide. Eduardo.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be with you and everybody tonight here. And of course, an honor to talk to you about Pertanto. Maybe you can go to the next slide. Yeah, next slide. Okay, the Pertanto really shares the same mission as the New York City Architecture Biennale, which is to promote intellectuality and curiosity, because we believe it is essential to achieve the best version of our humankind, to achieve the best world that we can, intellectually and curiosity, very important. Next. And we believe architects actually have a very special role, important role in this mission of achieving this best version of the world and humankind, because in our hands, we have the capacity of doing great change and resolving many of the most important issues affecting the world today. So in order to do that, architects need to be educated. We need to be in the top of our game in terms of our intellectuality. Next. So if architects need to be educated, and we believe it's important, Pertanto fills that gap and gives that opportunity to everyone, everybody here listening to us and all of us here speaking. Pertanto is that institution which will collaborate with the most important institutions like the New York City Architecture Biennial in order to organize these amazing educational programs. Next. And these programs, of course, not only are going to be teaming up with amazing institutions like the New York City Architecture Biennial, but also, of course, some of the most important architects and professors and scholars in the field of architecture. Next. And in this next edition, in the topic social inclusion, designing with empathy, something so important, designing with empathy. We, in collaboration, of course, with the New York City Architecture Biennial, we will have amazing experts talking in this program, covering topics of gentrification, of course, which are sometimes left out of development, or informal settlements, which are so typical in Latin America and are far away from the development of the city, or the strategies and tactics in order to design inclusive cities and communities. We'll touch on all of those topics in the program. Next. We have a very creative structure, pedagogical structure that we've invested a lot of time. It is based on the design thinking process. And I invite you all that are listening to go into our website, www.pertanto.com, and you can find a lot more information about the structure, which again is very, very interesting, very entertaining and educational. And you can find out a lot more about the program. So I invite you to please go into our website to find out a lot more about the program. Next.
Architecture is everywhere. As architects, we have a great responsibility. Architecture is the basis of the built environment. So as architects, we have the capacity of doing great change. From urban mobility to the health of our society, or social inclusion to the protection of the environment, so many of today's important issues can be resolved by architects and urbanists. That's why we created Pertanto, an online platform where some of the best scholars and professionals share thought-provoking ideas, present their points of views, and reflect on some of the most important issues affecting the world today. Be part of the conversation. Welcome to Pertanto.
I've seen this video probably 100 times and I still get goosebumps, but I invite you all to please go into our social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, to find out a lot more information. Our next edition starts November 9th with the New York City Architecture Biennial. Right now, we're giving Natalia to the public listening to us a very special offer of 30% off if you go and sign up and save your space before November 1st. So I definitely invite you all to go visit our website and be part of the conversation. We're very excited about this, and I believe it's a very important, task for all architects to be in the top of our game. So thank you very much.
No, thank you, Eduardo. It's wonderful to have you as part of our team, and thank you for your significant contributions to the New York City Architecture Biennial. Eduardo is also a collaborator and a representative of the New York City Architecture Biennial in Latin America.
Thank you.
And I also enjoy working with you, coordinating these programs. I'm very excited for the next edition that is coming up. And as Eduardo said, you can find it more on their website. You'll get a link through our website as well. So
Thank you.
Yeah, so now is time for Rick.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Eduardo. It was a great presentation. Tomorrow, very early in the morning here in New York, 8 a.m., the program will go from 8 to 9 a.m. Y una hora más razonable in Madrid. We are welcoming Maria Hurtado de Mendoza to give a lecture. Maria is an international award-winning architect and the co-founder of Estudio de Sitio. She is an associate professor of architecture here at the New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark, where we taught a studio together briefly a while ago. I recall it was in 2014 when Lance J. Brown was president of the AI New York chapter. I was executive director. I remember having to ask Lance permission to moonlight at NJIT. Lance said, as long as you give the fees to the AIA, that was all right. I think I did that. Maria has taught also at the Madrid School of Architecture at SUM and at Cornell, and she was awarded the Spanish Academy Rome Prize for Architecture in 1996. I've seen her slide deck. I've seen the video. It's phenomenal. If you're here tonight, you'll want to be here tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. This coming Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m., we're hosting Jack Travis for his Biennale lecture. Jack Travis established his namesake practice in 1985. He taught at Parsons School of Design, Pratt Institute, and FIT in New York. Also in the fall of 2014, he joined the faculty of the New School of Visual Arts. Jack has broadened his interests way beyond cultural content strategies to sustainable environmental design methodologies, alternative educational practices, such as a community design student, and the entrance of many students of color into academia and the profession. Following this Friday, October 23rd, from 7 to 8 p.m. on our closing day, a group of respected panelists will participate in a roundtable discussion and present their perspectives on this inaugural year's theme, inclusion in the workplace and in design. The roundtable panelists include Ronette Riley, FAIA, principal of her eponymous firm. Ronette graduated from the University of California at Berkeley and the Harvard Graduate School of Design. Danny Cesario, AIA, RIBA, and NOMA, National Organization of Minority Architects, is the 333rd Black woman in architectural history to earn her architectural license. She is currently a project manager at SOM. Danny graduated from the City College of New York, where I am proud to say she was a student of mine. Laurie Hawkinson, AIA, co-founder of Smith, Miller, and Hawkinson, is a professor at Columbia University's Graduate School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. And Laurie holds degrees from the University of California at Berkeley and the Cooper Union. Maria R. Probalini, AIA, OIA, is the Dean of the School of Architecture and Design at the New York Institute of Technology. Maria earned her degrees from Pratt Institute and the Istituto Universitario d'Architettura de Venezia. And Joan Krevlin, FAIA, lead APBDC, is a partner at BKSK Architects, New York. Joan is a distinguished alumni with a BA and MArch degrees from Washington University in St. Louis. And I also had her on my faculty when I was at City College. You can learn more about all of these speakers on the conference website.
Thank you, Lance. Yeah, I think that we'll have like 3 days. They're very different to today's day. Today was all about our organization, and now we're going to present the work of other architects that align with the goals of our organization. So now that we have clear what our organization is about, we're happy to, then you will understand why we're inviting, who we are inviting. So now it's time to listen to the public. I was trying to find questions in the on the screen. I just had a few questions coming to my cell phone, but most of them are congratulations. Thank you to all that sent some congratulations for myself too. But I think that everybody's happy. We have some people from Costa Rica as well saying hello. And well, I have some other questions that came to my cell phone, which is interesting. One is to Carlos. Carlos, are you there? I thought that we were all going to be on a screen right now. I don't see you. All the screens are off. Okay, thank you, Eduardo. You can turn on the screens. Carlo, Florencia, JJ. We were supposed to be all ready for the questions. We don't have many, but okay, Carlos, can you explain what it means an architectural biennial?
Well, this is something that perhaps I mentioned in my presentation, because you know that a biennial have a different forms for the presentation. So, for example, Buenos Aires is a biennial that permit and invite architects to talk about his works. So it's not a place of discussion between the people or the architects that we invite. It's not a place where the audience can enter in a discussion about what he is hearing. But for us, it's a presentation of what is happening on at that time in architecture in the world. So Buenos Aires, we are the south of America, and always we like to have to know what is happening with architecture in all the world. So for example, that is one scheme. The other one could be an special issue. He said, okay, we are going to we want to talk about this, but it's not our form of done our biennial during more or less 40 years. So you know that what is a biennial is what the members of the board decided to be.
Thank you, Carlos. I think that's very important to clarify. Not all architectural biennials have the same purpose or similar. And I don't know, well, maybe we have this question for Rick. Are we affiliated to the Chicago Biennial?
No, Natalia, we are not. We have great respect for what they've done in Chicago, but the New York City Architecture Biennale is a totally independent organization. But I see that one more question has just come in from Mark Bergen, who heads the incredible organization based in Australia called Driven by Designs Worldwide. He asks if it is too late for the organization, his organization, to become a gold sponsor of the New York City Architecture Biennale. And I'll answer for Natalia. The short answer, Mark, it is never too late. Welcome to the Biennial, Mark, Driven by Design as a gold sponsor. Anyone else out there who would like to do the same, feel free.
Wow, amazing, great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's great news. Okay, and so just last before we leave, we're close to finished. Lance, who can participate in this New York City Architectural Biennale? Lance, you're mute.
As Carlos mentioned, the Biennale operates under the guidance of the advisory board, and the advisory board members both propose and invite professionals whose work is considered to be in line with the goals of the organization. Obviously, people can speak to the advisory board members and propose through them as well. And then there's research done. As the theme changes, you can imagine that the participants might change. When all of this comes together, because obviously at some point there's probably more hay than we can field, we'll vote and see how we can manage each 2 years Biennale as we go forward.
Okay, and the last one is for Eduardo. It says, when our Per Tanto course is starting?
Thank you, Natalia. Yes, the Per Tanto courses will be every 2 months. There will be one edition. The first edition will be starting November 9th, the one in collaboration with the New York City Architecture Biennale. And as you well know, Natalia, we have a roster of amazing themes and editions program for the future. But the first one It's a very, very exciting one, November 9th. And again, as I said, you should sign up as fast as you can to take advantage of that discount before November 1st. But the edition starts November 9th. And the topic will be social inclusion, designing with empathy.
Thank you, Eduardo. And now it's all yours, Lance.
Well, thank you, Natalia. I want to thank everyone for this evening's wonderful international event with speakers and audience. I hope you found the evening's program as rich and exciting as I did. We're so pleased you've joined us, and please join us again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for Maria Hurtado de Mendoza's Biennale lecture, which Rick has introduced. Please remember, you can use the same link to sign in that you used today. We hope to see you then. We wish you all a wonderful evening. And for those listening in the US, don't forget to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you
Good night,
very much.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well done.